down to the real, and I was like getting all the way into the real. He's like, I didn't say. Yeah, I'm like the real,
The real.
the real.
It's all
Oh
us.
wait, already?
Yes, already.
No, for real.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, hello,
Hello, darling.
hello. How are you? Welcome everyone to Ivy Talks. This is Dreya Ivy. I'm here with the beautiful Marli Artiste
Hello.
and the squad here in the background, and we're sitting here live from London. Not necessarily live, but you know what I mean. And let me
we
introduce
are in
myself. Hold on. Let me introduce myself. This is episode number 1. Very, very, very important to say. This is episode number 1 on September 3rd of 2019. Very important to note
Yes.
because it's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I'm turning.
Happy birthday, baby.
I'm not gonna tell everyone, but I'm turning a certain age and I'm getting there. And here we are, live in London. I'm sitting across from a beautiful artist. And just to give an introduction to myself, I am from Miami, Florida.
Whoop, whoop.
And yes, I know 305 was good. Shout out 954-561. Side note.
Ooh.
And you got to do it when you're from South Florida.
Okay.
No, and I wanted to say that I am a poet, songwriter, world traveler. What else can I say? Travel advocate, freedom connoisseur,
A wonderful woman.
a wonderful woman,
Great friend.
a mother, all kind of things. But I'm new to the podcasting game. But this is the beginning of a very beautiful journey, and I am blessed to bring that along with you, my
But I'm very
beautiful,
happy.
my beautiful guest, Marli, and the production team. We got DJ Jazzino on the producer tip,
Hey,
and
hey.
we got Merch Millie on the manager / cameraman / everything behind the scenes tip. And
Hey.
we're here to talk to Marli today.
Oh, gosh.
How you feeling, Marli? What's good?
I'm feeling good. I'm as ready as I will ever be. This is like my first interview, and I'm really happy to have it with you. You know?
Oh,
No,
likewise.
for real. I'm so glad that you asked me. I definitely feel honored. And yeah, I'm interested to just kind of see how this goes.
Oh, that's good. It's great practice for a superstar like yourself.
Oh, wow. You are actually too
Oh,
kind.
you're so cute. Yeah, sorry. No, so anyways, I'm just messing around. No, so we're here. We're glad to be with each other. We have a history of working with each other. A very brief one to be continued.
Yes.
And one for the world to witness and see and feel through our music eventually. It's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming. So, Marli, let's get into a brief introduction into what you do and who you are.
Okay.
How long have you been making music? Are you a performing artist, Marli? I already know that. But to the world, who are you?
To the world, who am I? Marli is, Marli's a little bit crazy. Every now and again. No, for real, I've been making music since about 2011. I kind of left home, left schooling, joined a band, and it literally just took off from there. And being part of a band, background singer, alternative hip hop, rock, it was really cool. It was a vibe living in Orlando, Florida. And that's really where it all kicked off. I came back here and I was been kind of singing and doing different things. I held a residency for a little while in the lounge. I've done The Voice. That was interesting.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
we got to hear about that.
It was brief, but it was cool, and it was definitely an experience. I think more than anything, as an artist, I kind of take it as it comes, and I enjoy the journey because I really do feel like it's a journey. Some of the tracks that you may hear will be from my mixtape, which was a big part of this journey, this creative journey of mine. The mixtape named Mixtape.
What is it called?
Mixtape.
Okay.
Marli's mixtape. Very simple, very direct, to the point. And yeah, just a real expression of whatever it is that I am. I don't really feel like I can vocalize that through words and speaking. I feel like I literally just fully express myself when I make music. And
Nice.
that's it. To a degree, you know. And I kind of leave it there. I don't know.
So you mentioned band, and what was it? What was the other things that you did?
I was in a
That was the
band.
younger. It sounds like I want to know when you got started. Like when did you realize that I want to make music?
Joining the band, getting caught up in a snowstorm in New York, and enjoying every inch about it.
In New York. So where are you from originally?
I'm from London, born and raised in London. And I guess music, church, that's where it kind of kicks in. But then outside of that, as far as the kind of commercial, realizing that I'm an artist, it came after the band. You know, the band breaks down.
When was the band? When was making the band? I'm joking.
When was making the band? Well, we were in Florida, and it was like really awesome.
Well, when were you in Florida? Because I'm from Florida. Oh, I forgot to touch on that. By the way, episode number 1 is coming live from, not live, but you get what I'm saying.
It is iLive.
It's live. Okay. Well, oh yeah, let me shout out iLive. iLiveRadio.com, and we're doing the iLive UK version of that. And we're here in London. And as two people who have, well, I'm from Miami, of course. I think I mentioned that. But you lived in Florida. So when was that? Being that you're from here, what time period was that, and for how long, and how did it impact like your overall upbringing?
Well, when I was in Florida, I ended up in the last couple of years of high school.
Oh, okay.
So it was, you know, young and crazy time of my life. And then when I went and joined the band, it was literally after I finished high school. So it was a transition where I probably could have and maybe should have gone and studied something else. And I kind of tried to. And I was 3 months in, and I heard about this band that was going to New York, and I ended up on a plane going to New York with this band. And it's kind of just...
Pursuing passion.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, it was even better that we got caught up in a snowstorm, like I said, so we had to stay there a little bit longer, which just makes it even better, makes for better stories. And yeah, it was a good time. And then, like I said, the band did break down, but it was a big learning curve, you know. The band Ty Hickson and 35mm, that was us. And you know, we had our own little style. We got to perform at SOBs, and for me, it was really cool.
SOBs in New York really one time was good. Shout out SOBs in New York City. That's a big. If you're from New York, then you would know SOBs.
Yes.
If they're still open, I'm not even 100% sure.
I don't know, but yeah, for me, coming over from London and getting to experience that and kind of jump in was actually really cool for me, because I didn't really know as much as you can imagine about the level of culture, you know, that was at somewhere like this. And when we got invited to Source Mag, and, you know, the history of Source Mag and things like that, you know, it's just like, okay, cool. I was immersed. That was my first experience really as, you know, being out here as some kind of artist, going, singing and performing and doing open mics with, you know, the rest of the background singers, and just experiencing that, you know, trying to hustle because we didn't have a job, which is literally just making music and figuring it out as we go along.
Being an artist.
Well, being that fresh, very green stage artist. Not all artists are always in that evergreen area, so at some point you kind of figure it out and straighten it out, or your journey just kind of continues to develop. And it's wonderful still being a musician, because the magic of those stages never really leaves, because it is always kind of that learning curve that I guess you were kind of alluding to, you know, and this journey really just continues and continues and continues. And
I agree.
It's just things happen, and it's like, oh, you get to perform there, and then slower moments, and then it's like the show and everything goes crazy, and it's like, oh my gosh, and it's like, wake up, lights, action, wee, you know. And then the other side of it, where it's like, okay, I want to do shoots, I want to make music, I want to do this. It's like investment. So it's, you know, the balancing of the two. But yeah, this I wouldn't have traded anything.
I'm glad to hear that.
To a degree, you know. The crazy moments you don't really actually remember much. Like, you remember the hardest moments maybe, but outside of that, I don't really remember half the stresses probably that I may have thought were real stresses at the time. So everything I remember is just like, yeah, man, I was making music. I was singing. I was singing with my homies, you know what I mean?
So at that point, so basically a little bit after the teenage phase, you're in New York City, you're performing at SOBs, which is one of the most highlighted clubs. I mean, what is this, a couple years ago, right?
No, this was a little while back now, so some years. But yeah, at the
But
time.
it's one of the biggest.
It's one of the biggest.
Yeah, one of
And
the
I found
biggest-
that out. It's like, yeah, we go into. So I'm
Yeah.
learning all of this as I go along. It's
Yeah,
like, okay, I've
it
joined
is.
this band. I've left this thing. It's like, okay, wow, I'm just going here. And it's a
Nice.
very short period of time, to be fair. It's only like 2 weeks we were there. But like I said, it just felt like, oh, wow, walking around, going to what Union Square, going to all these things. And singing in the subways. We had to do that. We were in New York. We was like, yes, we're going to sing in the subways. So we went to go and sing in the subway station because that's what you do when you're in New York.
That's exactly what
That's
you do in New York
what
City.
you do when you're in New York City, just beatboxing, doing whatever.
Shout out Queens, New York.
Queens, yeah, Queens,
Queens,
Brooklyn. My friends, I think they were from Harlem. So just we went all over the place.
over.
Is cool.
So I'm really curious. Someone with a vocal range such as your own.
Oh wow, okay, thank you.
Oh, I'm putting smoke on you. Like,
You
ah.
are. Thank you.
So, if you could tell me about a couple of your influences, like when you were growing up, maybe someone, a couple artists that you admired,
Yes.
be it their ability vocally, be it lyricism, be it just the music, who would you attribute perhaps your passion to music towards?
Well, funnily enough, my mum always said she wanted a daughter that sings or a child that
What was
sings.
that?
My mum always said she wanted a child that sings. So she
Oh,
always tells
okay.
me, I got one. And that's what just been in my head. But outside of that, as far as artists, I remember grandma loving Tina Turner. So, getting to listen to Tina
good
Turner,
one.
like, just go. And then also Hot Chocolate on the side, you know what I mean? Singing on a Sunday, while you're cleaning the house, and then me just deciding to go in the back garden and absolutely belt out whatever it was that I felt necessary to belt out to the neighbours. Going to families' houses and the VHS days and watching Michael Jackson VHSs, because I think that was really a thing at one point in time, watching a Michael Jackson VHS. So just, watching kind of music culture through the family, but mainly, hearing music and singing in church and in that environment, understanding and learning harmonies and the difference between someone that can sing and someone that might be a little bit tone deaf and singing with everybody, in the room. So yeah, outside of that, literally being addicted to the radio. I remember as a child, just listening to either Kiss or, when I was allowed to, because it was a little bit naughtier, Choice FM. And, and always on Capital, and just literally listening to whatever the hits were supposed to be, Top of the Pops. And, I definitely got caught up with the Spice Girls. I was part of that era. Yes, I remember getting all my friends together and kind of forcing everybody at a very young age to do full-blown Spice Girl performances.
That's amazing.
During lunchtime, because that's what you need to do with your life.
Right.
That is actually what you need to do with your life. I had to be sporty or scary Spice, I was it. So, yeah, music is just, it's always there, you're listening to Bob Marley or whatever. I love Lauryn Hill. So many different people. Right now, I really just love Bruno Mars. Like, I just think Bruno Mars is
Good
great.
choice. Great
It's
choice.
just, as an all-rounder, and as a performer today, I like the idea of one day being able to just tour and go out there and perform. And I feel like Bruno is someone that does that. And not only does he do that, he does give quite a bit of homage to, like black artists and black culture and the kind of music and the kind of sound. And when he speaks of it, he does, give credit to it, which is appreciated. And I just love the kind of vibe he has, especially when he first started, creating music in the kind of acoustic sound. So that's really cool. And then when I want to feel a little bit more gangster, right now, when I feel a little bit more gangster, I really enjoy Schoolboy Q. Schoolboy Q, I think the
Definitely
production, that definitely gangster. You know what I mean? When he, the kind of production he chooses to, MC on, TDE. Listen, Top Dog, massive. Like, they got SZA, what? I wish I was SZA right now. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think she's great. You know what I mean? I think she's great.
She is.
So, for me, like, I don't feel like I can really say, oh, this artist definitely had a mark on my life and this artist had a mark on my life, especially now today when you have access to everything.
Right.
Everybody is having an effect on me. I'm listening to so many different things, you know, and that's just the reality of it. But yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to get into a short little break right now. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Don't wait too long.
Okay.
All right. We're going to lead into some music, some of your music.
So my music.
Yes.
Ooh.
I'm not even going to tell you what track.
You're not going to tell me what track. Oh, the suspense. It's saucy.
All right. We'll be right back.
Cool. Yes.
All right. So we're back. Marli, what's good? How you doing?
Stop.
No. All right.
Stop.
No, wait. All right. So when we're... So I'm not as crazy as I used to be.
Hopefully not. Hopefully it's a real thing.
As I used to be. Oh, man. Who knows?
Who
With
knows?
me.
Yes.
So, Marli, we're here. We're still talking. And I want to know all about you.
Oh wow,
I'm just joking.
that's deep.
No.
That's deep.
So, tell me, what do you got going on? What are some projects that you have currently going on? Are you working on anything, like EP-wise? Are you collaborating with anyone? Is there anything going on currently that is taking a good amount of your time or that you would attribute?
Right now, honestly, no. I just finished studying and I just kind of taken a little bit of a life break. I'm like, oh gosh, kind of, you know, getting my feet back on the ground per se.
Okay.
And it's a good time, you know, it's a beginning time and I can feel myself. I can feel my energies. I really want to create, you know, the juices are actually flowing in their own little way. And even coming to sessions like this and being in the zone and being with all you wonderful people in the room right now, it's just kind of like, okay, so yeah, music, artist, Marli Artiste, hi, how are you? Wake up, good morning. And the project is on its way, you know. I can't tell you when exactly. I can't tell you exactly what it's going to sound like, and that's kind of exciting for me. But the project is on its way in the same way that mixtape was an idea baby. And I was just like, mixtape, I'm going to make a mixtape. And, you know, I always get this question, so when's your next project? What are you doing? You know, the artists always go, what are you doing now?
Yeah.
Where have you been? What are you doing? You know what I mean? It's like, okay, what am I doing? I'm making a project.
Okay, you're working on a project.
I'm working on a project.
All right, so now with that being said, would you ever place
Would I ever place?
now, and maybe perhaps you can foresee in the future, you know, from you now to millions of views,
Ooh.
billions of views, right? Would you ever want to be placed into a certain genre? Or would you want to be more ambiguous in the sense of like, you know, like, do you want to touch different genres? Is there a certain genre that is more closer to heart to you?
I mean,
so to speak.
truly,
to your sound.
To my sound. I mean, my voice is inherently soulful, naturally. So I do really well with like reggae, funk, jazz. So I feel like you'll always hear some kind of essence of that in whatever I really create, to be honest. But outside of that, I can't really tell you. You know, it's like a fusion of everything. We live in a time where everything is open and there are kind of no rules. So if I want to make rock and roll with a little hip-hop kind of vibe and then throw some jazz kind of, you know, something on it and then completely throw it left because, you know, Afro beats and everything is coming in and I'm Jamaican, my family's Jamaican, and bashment and that reggae kind of vibe, I'm really kind of feeling it within myself a little bit more to kind of tap into that part of who it is that I am. So I'm just excited because it's just like, what do I do? What do you mean genre? Just label me alternative. Just leave it at that. Because if you want to pick and choose where I'm really going to sit, I mean, where does anyone really sit? It's just pop. You know, I see pop, but that's popular music. And outside of that, it's just kind of what you sounds like, kind of like on that day, bar acoustic, you know.
All right, I hear you. I hear you. So you don't want to stay in a box.
Where's the box? Like,
there
there is no more box. Where is the box? You know.
You don't want to stay in a box, but you mentioned your background. You mentioned Jamaican. But
Yes.
what is your official background like? So is it only Jamaican? What's the lovely mix?
What is
of
the lovely
Marli
mix?
comprised of?
Well, I got it tatted in my skin. It says "Made in JA." So
Very
I was
nice.
made in Jamaica, but
okay.
I was born here. So don't ask me what happened in that short space of time. All right, I can't really account for that. But I was made there, born here, and yeah, I'm fully Jamaican, born and raised in London. I love London. I think London is pretty awesome, pretty cool. And then I moved over to the States, like I said, for the last year of high school. So I was, late teens then. And yeah, I came back. So that's kind of like my mixture. My family definitely made me know and let me know that we are Jamaican. And I appreciate that. I don't feel too far. I know some parts of our diaspora do kind of feel like estranged sometimes, or they're very they're just very British, I guess, which isn't really a problem.
Right.
But it's always good to know your root, to know where you're from, and I obviously feel like I have that kind of sense of pride, out of many, one people is like a real thing, and it's a beautiful thing.
Isn't that the money? That's all the money.
That's all the money, but
That's the national saying, isn't it?
yes,
One of them.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
I know
yes.
a little bit about Jamaica. All right, that's so.
Yeah, so I'm British, Caribbean, if you want to tick a box.
All right,
And
that's
black.
a cool mix. That's still a cool mix.
It's cool.
So you got British, Jamaican going on. You got Florida in there somewhere. You got New York in there somewhere too.
New York, no, I just like New York.
That was the SOBs.
I just like, yeah.
That was you bragging. Okay.
I wasn't bragging. I just thought about how it really got started. If you really want to know, that's what gave me the
I'm
kick.
just-
It was a thrill. No, don't.
I'm messing with you. So let me ask. So I'm curious. So all right. So you're currently in a phase of, getting back into your creative zone.
Yes.
You've been focusing on school.
Mm-hmm.
Your background with the island and the Caribbean, being in London, with a touch of American here and there, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So how would you describe your creative process? Like, how would you say, like, this is how I get into my, well, before I even get into that,
Yes.
do you write your own music?
I do write my own music.
Oh, singer-songwriter.
Singer-songwriter. And it's a great feeling.
Singer-songwriter.
Yes.
So, all right, now, singer-songwriter, how do you feel about that being prevalent? Like, do you feel it's more prevalent to be a singer-songwriter versus a singer who's open to working with writers? I mean, you're open to working with writers. Clearly.
I'm open to working with writers, definitely, and I feel like it depends on the artist, and kind of what it is that they choose to do, if they would want, to work with writers, to what extent. And not everybody wants to write for themselves,
Right,
or
of
sometimes, I don't know if they can, I don't know what it is. But and then someone like me that really finds it important that I at least get some of my personal expression out. Like, if I want to sing something, if you really want it to be from me, I need to give something of myself to that, song, and to that lyric or whatever, what have you. The creative process, I think literally the best songs come about in the shower, and it's just about rinsing yourself off quick enough to then type down the lyrics into your phone. So honestly, I don't know what it is about that space, but I think everybody has a thing,
Right.
singing in the shower. It's just a great place, and it's a great place to create and start songs and everything. And then as far as the actual creation of it all, I like working with musicians, live musicians especially, and really just kind of feeling out songs, jamming. I like jamming and then seeing what of that can come about and become a song, and then go away and maybe write to it, structure it, and just meeting producers, meeting people that make music, listening to beats. I love meeting beat makers, do you know what I mean, and producers. And it's just like, hey, I got this, DJs especially, because DJs do put tracks together as well, or some of them are, beat makers, producers themselves, or full-blown musicians. So it's just about the creative vibe and just getting into a space, and it's like, okay, yeah, I feel this, I connect with this, I want to write to this, I'm writing to this, I want to now record it. Cool, it's recorded, boom, we've got a song. That's wonderful.
You touched on the live musician sound. That's that jazz in you.
Yeah, live music.
The improvisation factor.
Live sound, doo-wopping.
I agree. It's different.
Spitting, like I'm definitely not an MC, but I like to think of myself as a lyricist, and I got inspiration, grime, garage music over here in the UK. I remember being really young and really enjoying like Wiley and like Esky beats and stuff, and I remember What You Call It, and that just stuck out to me. And I'm not really that cool in that kind of way. No, secretly I'm not.
What does that even mean?
I don't know what cool means, and I am cool, and that's it. But
Amen.
no,
Amen.
But no, to that kind of degree. But I liked that sound. I liked that music, and I like that kind of bubble, and Jamaican music and reggae, bashment, ragga music. Dubs, that dub kind of sound. It has that element. Hip hop again has that element, that jazzy kind of doo-wop. So it's very improv on the spot.
Dopeness on the spot. So let me ask you a question. So if somebody were, like, let's just say, if anyone, I guess, anyone, were to hand you a magic wand right now.
Magic wand, I love those.
Okay, well, you can orchestrate your entire world tour right now.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Who would be on your world tour?
Who would be on my personal world tour?
Your personal world tour right now. No questions asked. No questions of the intricacies. Or the business plan or X, Y, and Z. It's just a matter of, I mean, I don't want to limit you, but if I would have to say 3 artists, maybe.
3 artists.
I don't know if I want to limit it to current day or maybe just all around.
All around.
Just, who would rock with you? Who would you rock with on stage? Worldwide. Organized, everything is good to go.
I think
at the snap of a finger.
I think possibly MIA, because she's just completely alternative and random to a large degree, and I don't know what would happen.
Nice.
I just don't know what would happen because of that. And she's someone that I feel like there's a part of me that kind of can encapsulate that kind of spirit that she has as an alternative, kind of strong female character, independent, and then another strong female character that I just think, if I was able to approach my business, like, if anything, Janet Jackson. I don't know how I'd be able to tour with her or what, but I think just watching her and how she's, been able to develop as an artist and grow in so many ways, it's just like, that's a big heavy hit. I don't know if I'd be on tour or just screaming like a crazy person in the front, you know what I mean, or backstage, but yeah, that's amazing. Definitely go back to Bruno Mars, because I can't help that. I just think his shows, what I mean, are definitely... He does shows right now, and I think especially as a young artist or, someone that would be young to that kind of level, someone like that, working in that kind of environment, just on all aspects, from the live aspect to, the actual performance side of things, just be really cool. And then even like Missy Elliott, because she's Missy Elliott. My favourite band of all time is NERD, but I think Missy Elliott as a female and just completely doing different things and just blowing everybody's mind at every point in time. Exactly. It's singing and spitting and just rapping, being great. You know what I mean? Everything. So, yeah, man, definitely.
So who was the favorite band again? I missed that part.
NERD, my favourite band of all time. We got Pharrell Williams and Shad Hugo just absolutely doing crazy, crazy things and making me feel like I wanted to be a skateboarder, just, riding on top of a cop car. Like, that's I still have these ideals and these images in my head because of them. It's their fault. Sorry, Mum. But it's their fault. It's not mine. It's not mine at all. I just want to be a rock star.
That's a great model to follow. Because they're still out here doing their thing. It's a great model to follow. Yeah. So let me ask you something now. When you think about where you're at in comparison to where you want to be, right? Where would you say you want to be? Now, like, and that being said, like, where is your vision in terms of where you want to place your career, where you want to pursue your career in the music business? That may be kind of broad, but what I mean by that is...
for me, the answer is kind of simple, to be fair. I want to be performing my own songs and mashups of people's songs that I just think are amazing anyway, everywhere that I possibly can, and eating good food and meeting great people. Like, that is the ideal. And if the revenue streams can bang on the back of that, then that is just even better.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? You know, but I mean, the simple fact to be able to do it, of course, you know, got funded. But outside of that, like, yeah, just going everywhere, singing, doing what I love to do, and learning along the way, learning different ways of singing, different kinds of music, different kinds of art, culture, you know, people, things.
So that provokes me to ask. Now, is that more based on the level of you performing as a performing artist on stages and actually being in front of the fans and being in that atmosphere versus being in the studio? Because that's different. You know, like you could be in the studio
Meeting people and doing everything
all day long.
Yeah.
Versus like you could be performing all, you know, so like would you say like, you know, at a snap of a finger I'll perform every day all day, or is it more the studio that you enjoy, or is there like a difference?
I just think I'm ready for whatever kind of tour life could throw at me to a degree, because when I was doing my residency, I was singing 5 nights a week, every week, consistently, until I decided to take a little break. And I did that for at least 3 years. You know, and when I speak to people, when I tell them that, they're like, what the hell? And I'm like, I didn't realize that was a thing. Right. So I'm like, cool, like, let's go. You know, I'm like, if I can do that here, let's actually go and do that, like, everywhere. And maybe not 5 nights a week, every week, you know, for the whole year, but 2 nights a week in different cities, maybe, or every 2 weeks. Like, I mean, that sounds ideal. And then creating, I really love the idea of creating in different places. Like, I've created in Italy. I've created music in Italy with one of my friends. I've created music in America, you know, different states, which is amazing. And I just want to do more of that. You know, I genuinely want to do more of that.
I agree. So what's something that most of your fans or followers, I guess you want to call them nowadays, what's something that maybe they wouldn't expect from you, or if they just listen to your music and perhaps didn't necessarily see you in the speaking light as you are now?
Yes.
You know, what might they be surprised to know about you?
I personally think I'm shy, although nobody else does.
Shy.
Yeah, just a little bit. See, always with the laughter. This is a real thing, you know. This is my life. I also think I'm funny. Don't ask me why. I do laugh at my jokes. It's really sad. But no, I like Batman, and I really, really like Batman. So I think this is not something that most people know. For no reason, I don't even know why. I just connect it with Christmas time, and it always used to come on, I think, either
Christmas
ITV.
Time Batman? Wait, Christmas time Batman?
No, I think there was one time when someone stole the presents. I think it was in the Penguin one. But yeah, I like Batman, so I have like Batman socks. I have like Batman lights. I have different little things. So that is my exposure. If you love me, buy me Batman things. Because I will love you forever, and that's it. It's very simple.
Who would have known?
Who would have known? I am Batman secretly, but please don't tell anybody, because it's a lot to deal with.
That's a lot to deal with. That is. But I feel you still. I feel you still. I truly do. So, all right. Now, living in the current era that we're at, right? Now, being an artist that's still on the up and up, and you're doing your thing, and you're grinding and you're rising. Now let's just say that there was anyone, a manager, a team, however you want to call it, they could come and wave a magic wand.
I like the magic wands.
I like the theme of that for the night. I like the magic wand thing. But so, you know, like they wave a magic wand in front of you. Now, what I want to ask is more along the lines of, like, is there anything that you're willing to compromise or sacrifice on in terms of who you are or your artistry to attain a certain level of what you would deem success?
Compromise.
You know, like that. I know that's a no. That's a good question. You know, like
sleep.
And I ask that genuinely. You know,
I'm willing to compromise some sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like, it takes some hours. I believe in that. Outside of that, I mean, as an artist, what are you nowadays, what are you really compromising, especially
It
as
could
a
be-
DIY artist? Like,
mean,
there's so many routes and stuff. I don't know.
It could be creative control. It could be freedom. It could be your time.
But I mean,
There's a lot of things.
I mean, freedom, again, if I'm
Royalties,
choosing to do.
points.
But I mean, in music and fairness, and when you know your stuff, then that's it. All those things are just conversation. You know what I mean? Sound, I mean, that again.
Lyricism.
That's these things for me are a conversation, because who am I in the room with? What is the point of being in this room? Why are we here? What is it that we're creating? What are we creating for? You know, music is still fluid enough to get what you need out of that moment, and I feel like I'm versatile enough and understanding enough to be able to be like, okay, to look at it that way, you know, and then there will be a time when I fully express myself, and in those zones that's what's going to happen. And again, the main thing I'm willing to sacrifice and compromise, I guess, is sleep.
All right, that's
You
a
know?
strong answer. No, I like that. I actually like that.
Yeah.
I like that. As of now,
Mhm.
we're only compromising on
A little bit of
Sleep.
sleep, do you know what I
little
mean?
sleep.
It may be a little bit discomfort if you got a ride economy and that, but outside of that, you know, you just drink your water, eat your vegetables, and do what you're supposed to do. That's
hear
all I'm
that.
trying to do
I
right
like
now.
that. I like that. I like that answer. That's a dope answer. So, all right. So you're not gonna compromise on compromising on creative control.
It's a
Not
conversation.
compromising on
Man.
sound. It's a sound. I know it's a conversation.
It's a
I know.
conversation.
I'm more so speaking in a general sense. You know, like in a general sense of who you are and what your brand is and will be. You know what I mean? Like that's more of what I was alluding to.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what is with that being said, so being that you're versatile, yet you're still strong in who you are, clearly, if you're only willing to compromise on one thing. I mean, clearly, I mean, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's a great thing. What do you feel is important to leave as your legacy? And like, well, no, before I even get there, what is something that you feel that you're bringing different to the music game? No, before I even get there.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
we got.
I know, I'm breaking it down even more.
Yes.
Where do you see the music industry today? Like, what do you see it as, like, this is where it's at and versus where it should be? And where can I place myself in here to facilitate where it should be?
Well, I think a lot of people tell the story of the music industry being a bit strange right now, a bit of a strange place to work in and even to listen to a degree. It's just, I think we're in a transition space, and I think once we get out of this space and we get back to more real music, I guess, or music that feels a little bit more direct and hard-hitting, just because of the way the world's probably going and the fact that DIY and independent artists are really taking more reign and really pushing more, so you're getting more of that, you know, natural artist vibe back again. I think we will get back to that place where everybody is talking about missing, you know, having a certain kind of energy. I just think inherently it's going to look different. And this middle ground of strangeness, I mean, we're still all rocking to whatever it is we're rocking to it since whenever, regardless of what we say about it. So the music industry is just its own weird little thing. One thing I would say about it right now as an artist and an independent artist, sometimes I feel like because everything is a bit digital and everything is so heavily reliant on numbers, I kind of question what kind of artist is actually allowed to be in the industry. Like, how are you allowed to just kind of be an artist? Like, does that actually happen? I'm not deep enough in it to know, but from the outside looking in, most people say we're not really sure if it is. You know, and I get the kind of artists that are really blowing up right now. They're usually very much so together in a certain kind of way. You know, they understand the business of things to a different kind of degree, or their team, or they've managed to, bless them, find, you know, team members that have certain kind of things to really actually just stay on top and keep up with and keep grounded in this vast ocean of everything that is today's music industry. For me, I think one thing, if I could say I really would want anything, it's just a really cool team. And it wouldn't have to be, so many people, but your team is everything, especially now. Like, you can't really do it by yourself. Even as a DIY artist, you can figure what you want to do by yourself, maybe. But once you figure that out, which is where I kind of feel like I'm at more so than ever now, it's like, all right, cool. I just, let's go, but it's a let's go. It's not, it's a let's. And that's why it's lovely to know people like you, what I mean, who,
thank you.
no, for real, who bring, artists like myself that are, independent, just out here like, hey, I sing, I make music, and I'd like to do something with it, and just continue giving us platforms. And that's what it's about. Other people that love music and love art to just continue doing it, continue striving for it, continue giving them platforms, and the music industry will continue doing what it's always done, be itself, and continue to grow and be its weird and wonderful world.
I see that. I appreciate that, by the way.
No, thank
that
you.
was sweet. But anyways, let's cut back to, let's give it a little break.
Okay.
Get back to one of your other tracks.
Oh, wow.
Maybe the London Rebel one, maybe.
London Rebel.
Since we're in London.
We are in London.
Yeah,
we are quite rebellious. I got told off for being a bit rebellious a couple of days ago, so it's still true.
Oh, sorry. So we're going to cut to that for a little bit, and then we'll be right back.
Yes.
All right.
Oh, thanks, babe. Hello.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Oh, hi, how are you? All right, now we're back. We're back here with Miss Marli, Artiste. Well,
Hello,
first of all, let's
darling.
clarify. Is it Marli or is it Marli Artiste?
I am Marli Artiste, but naturally you call me Marli. So Marli is just how it goes. The artiste comes in for, the posters and the posts and things like that.
We'll definitely get into that. We'll get into all the social medias in a bit. So I want to touch on a bit of what you would envision after being a rebel in London, of course. What would you envision, or what do you anticipate for it, like, for your legacy to be in this industry, in this world, in this music game?
This industry and in this world.
Yeah, in this industry, in this world, in this music game.
I mean, starting out as a London rebel, that says anything. Definitely want to have some fun. The lady who lived and gave and shared, more than anything through my music, I always just want it to be known that I've been open and as honest as possible. I think I said earlier that that's where I truly express myself. So as long as I always feel like I'm giving 100% me, whatever that may look like, through my music and then through the things that may share, from that, then I feel like that is the legacy, being yourself. And again, getting back to that place where I feel like artists in this industry really need to just be able to be and feel like they can be whatever it is that their crazy extends to, and give people a vibe, let people know that it is okay to be them, whatever that may look like. I'm kind of big on that. So if I can express that and that can really be honed in and kind of come across, then I feel like, yeah, cool.
So it's not necessarily about accolades or Grammys or...
Listen, I want everything. Listen, give me
money.
A Grammy, give me the Tony, you know what I mean, the VMAs, the MMAs, the Money's, you know what I mean, everything. Like, why not? If I'm gonna go for it, and if people think I'm cool enough, then why not? That's cool too. I mean, shoot, honorary degrees, Nobel Peace Prize, I'm here. Take me. You know what I mean? But why not? Who knows the extent that we could really reach. The sky is not a limit, so we'll just see how far it goes,
But to you personally, none of those things quantify as like successful?
As
Or-
long as I can continue to make music that I'm actually happy about and I can look back and say, yeah, that was me, then I feel great. I
That's
feel
dope.
great. Yeah, I
That's
know I can look at, the songs you've heard were from my mixtape, which I told you about, and as one whole body of music. It's very small. It's, it's 4 songs. But I can look back at that and say, yeah, man, I remember that hustle. I remember working towards that. I remember going to the studio. I remember taking the pictures and sending whatever to get the artwork and then putting it out
The
and,
whole process.
doing all those kind of things. And it's just like, that is the great part. And then sharing it with people and people saying, yeah, no, I really got that, and I really understood that and I felt that. And then even the wanting more. It's like, oh, okay. It's like, okay, cool. So, yeah.
So outside of the general population, general population meaning your fans, loving your
Oh, wow.
music.
Yes.
When it comes to other artists, other creatives really digging your music and perhaps being influenced by what it is that you do, how would you want to influence other creatives to pursue their passions and their grind?
Ultimately, the coolest idea would that be wherever I'm at, I have some kind of studio space and that I'm always just that welcoming person. It's like, come on, let's go to the studio. You know what I mean? Just that's it, because like I said, I love jam sessions. I like jamming. I like being in
So
that
you
vibe.
didn't write any
Come on, if I was at some kind of show, yeah. No, seriously, if I was at some kind of award show and someone really cool was there and I'm like, hey, do you want to make music right now? If they said yes, are we not going to make music right now? Like, that is happening. You know what I mean? Like, totally. Like, why not? And that's it, kind of thing.
Okay.
And yeah, I think those are the coolest kind of moments.
Well, what are some steps? I guess not steps, but what is some advice that you would want them to follow?
Follow from
Listening
me.
to you and watching your journey, yeah, from you.
Well, like artists that are out there right now, big or small.
Big or small, whomever they may be, who look up to you.
I want Beyonce to think of me?
That plays into your legacy in essence,
to understand the kind of UK urban vibe a little bit more, worldwide. I think it's obviously definitely come across, but I feel like there's way more aspects of it that can be expressed, and I feel like, hey, I might be a cool candidate for that. And also the kind of a different kind of reggae sound, the London, Bashment, Jamaican sound that is really actually kicking up more and more now, especially on the back of the Afrobeats wave. So, kind of, again, just digging into my actual culture and then expressing that. Because those are the things that make me who I am, and I'm big on like self-expression. I want to just be whoever it is that I am at whatever given time of day, and then be able to express that and be okay with that as well. The hard part is balancing and be like, okay, is that me? And I know we all, it's like, oh, but I feel the most comfortable and honest when I'm creating music, so it's okay there,
Are you willing to go against the grain? Are you willing to stand out and be that, say for instance, one person that is willing to do this or this, or the general consensus?
I don't really think I know what the general consensus is, to be fair.
Like, are you more concerned with being politically correct versus being free?
I try to be, politically correct, because naturally I'm not trying to offend anybody, but at the same time, I just want to share on a very humanistic level, I have some views, politically and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, I'm a people person, I'm other people, so it's like, okay, where are we at, how are we kind of being treated? I can't really look at the other side too much, because if we look at, I don't know, the politics of things, we'll all start being like, oh my God, and we have to look at it, we have to understand it, but we also have to, as people, kind of get together and just move forward positively. And I think that is the general consensus, I think, top or bottom, big or small, political or not. It's just trying to get to a place where we can all just kind of come together and vibe and get the magic of music, because I feel like music definitely needs to be a little bit more prevalent in a way again. I don't know how, we do need the politics. It does need to connect, and we do need to talk about what's happening right now as well. So I don't know where the political correctness can lie in there. You probably always kind of upset somebody if you're just going to be like, hey, stuff is real right now. It's kind of crap right now. I'm happy. I want everybody to be together, but, this is what's happening. We can all see, again, which is why I say I don't know how to be politically correct. I just want to kind of be happy. A little bit happy, as honest as possible.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. So, before we get out of here, because we're coming to
a close. This is over.
For now. Only for now. It's temporary. So, how can we gain new followers for you, for people who may not have been exposed to your music at all beforehand? How can people who are your current fans still keep abreast of what you're doing and what you got going on? How do we follow Miss Marli Artiste? What's Miss Marli Artiste got going on?
What Miss Marli Artiste has got going on social medias, everything is at Marli, so Marli, Artiste, and that's with an E. And Twitter, Instagram. Instagram is kind of the heavy hitter right now. If you do your numbers and you do your math and everybody gets on Instagram, it's like... and then you gotta put up your pictures and your stories. It's like, hey y'all, and you get the boomerang,
right?
And you get all these. So I don't feel like I'm as nifty, but I'm definitely getting into it. And I realize people actually really do pay attention to these kind of things, and that's kind of cool. I've seen numbers kind of grow, especially with stories. So it's like people want to see kind of what you're doing, where you actually, and just little snapshots. And I do kind of like that because it's sharing, and I didn't always see social media as that, because it definitely gets a negative stigma nowadays, just pressuring people or getting caught up in other people's lives. And so again, I have to look at it from a place of I'm just expressing myself small and being able to share with people, and maybe have people share back, so definitely connect. Get in with the socials. I'll be so happy. I will just be like, oh my gosh, people are digging into me. This is wonderful. And seriously, and I like to connect back. I like to like pictures and double tap and be like, oh my gosh, that looks so cool. Even though they messed up our feed. Like, can we get back the original Instagram feed so it just feels more organic? Like, I feel like I'm just lying and I'm seeing the same people all over. I want to see as much of everybody as possible, honestly.
Sounds good. Well, I wanted to thank you. For coming.
Thank you.
On the very first episode of Ivy Talks.
Number 1.
Ivy Talks, by the way, _ so let me do my plugs.
Yes, quick. Do it.
And before we get out of here, I got to give a couple of shout outs. One more time. Let me give a good shout out to iLive UK, iLivemusic.com. Well, iLive Radio, I'm sorry. iLiveRadio.com. And we're here with Mr. DJ Jazzino. Shout outs to the producer on the tip.
Hello.
Shout out to Merch Millions, at Merch Millions, Instagram. All of us are on Instagram.
Everybody's on Instagram nowadays.
Everyone, for the management and the camera work and all the extra work on the behind the scenes.
Yes. Thank you, Merch.
And I also wanted to thank all of you for being here for my first episode of Ivy Talks, _ Ivy Talks. Based in Miami, the 305. Shout out to the 305.
Whoop, whoop.
Shout out to the 954-561. If I'm going to go there, 718.
Ivy Talks.
And this is the beginning of a very long-going journey, and one that we don't really know destination.
Where it's going to
because there's so many. However, we're starting.
Yes.
And that's what matters. And I want to leave everyone with that thought tonight. Let's get it going. Let's keep going, and let's keep following and pursuing all of our passions and our loves, and let's keep it going.
Going and going. Just keep swimming.
But I wanted to thank you again.
Thank you.
Episode number 1. We're here in London, England.
Thank you, in London.
Reporting with Miss Marli Artiste. She's the best.
And Dreya Ivy, the wonderful, the magnificent, the darling.
Miss Dreya Ivy, that is myself, and we are signing off. to some of your music.
Goodbye.
All right, guys.
See you later.
Good night, good day.
Ciao.
All right.
It was fun.
Yeah.
This.